What's up? This is The Pitch. Welcome to another episode of The Pitch. I'm your host, John Fox, alongside here with Mike Peps Peroni and Mitch Sabatelli. Now, guys, we have a completely loaded show for you tonight as the Bruins, Mitch's pick right here in 7,
Peps is
take
taking
down
7.
the Lightning. Tim Thomas 1-0 shuts down the Lightning. Only Lightning is the Bruins. Now,
Lightning never strikes twice.
true, my
They
friend.
did strike
And we
3
have another
times.
winner over here, Peps.
4-0.
Yes,
Yep.
the Mavs and the Heat. He picked them. They're in the finals.
Yeah,
Now,
I'll give some props.
Thank you.
I got those 2 picks back in January, but he did pick all 4.
Nope. Yes, I did.
All 4. That was pretty good.
and another big story: the world champion Giants lose one of their star players.
That was
But for
disgusting.
how long? We'll talk about it later. But first, we're going to talk about the Bruins and how they took down Tampa Bay in 7 games.
Yeah.
How did they do it?
Well, in Game 7, that was ridiculous defense by Zdeno Chara and Dennis Steinberg. You could see whenever they were about to crash the net, there was just tons of traffic right in front of the net and screening Thomas perfectly. Thomas was making terrific saves. They didn't have a lot of shots, but when they did, Chara was right there. They were shutting down the big guys, and I think that was huge. Defense wins championships, and you could see it was evident there. Also, the offense, their offense was striking all cylinders. I'm surprised they only had 1 goal, especially in Game 7. They were just pummeling them.
Dwayne Rolson, man.
Yeah, Dwayne Rolson had a great game in Game 7. But earlier in the
Exceptionally
series,
great save.
you know, there was momentum shifts every single game. But the Bruins are very resilient. Whenever they go down, they come back and rebound perfectly well. And you see with the Tampa Bay, they have a very good coach team. Guy Boucher, this is his rookie year of coaching, and he's going to be
Really
around
did
for a
a great
while.
job with that
He did a
team.
great job, and that 1-3-1 system's really working. Who knows if Rolson's going to retire? I mean, hopefully he'll come back for 1 year.
He is
But I
like
really like that
42.
series. And that series just offense versus defense, and defense wins championships.
It was kind of scary because in that game, the last Saturday that just passed, I thought it was happening all over again. You see the 3-0 lead, then I'm sitting at Longhorn Steakhouse in Boston watching the game.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, 3-3 like that.
I was like,
I felt like I'm like, oh no, they're up 2-1. This is the Bruins all over again doing this shit.
I was when we were 3-0, I was going to work, and it was 3-0, and then I come into the car.
I thought it was
3-1.
over. I thought
Then
it was over,
3-2
too.
by the time I got to work, and then I flicked on my phone. It was 4-3.
They scored 2 goals in a span of like a minute 10.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just, but yeah.
But then the Bruins came back and won the next one, and that was huge.
Yeah, that was huge when that went home.
Yep. And I think Game 6 might have been rigged just to get to Game 7. There was a lot of iffy calls there, but you know, Game 7 was always cracked up to be no penalties in Game 7. That was huge.
I can't believe
And
that.
there was 2 factors that the Bruins needed to win in Game 7. They needed to keep physicality down. Yeah, Bruins are really physical, but there was no penalties there. That was perfect. And the Bruins needed to have a great defensive game, and Tim Thomas needed to stand on his head, and they did both those things. And the power play, there was no power play for Tampa Bay to score because they didn't have any penalties. So
Yeah, that's what Barry Melrose was even saying before the game was started. He's like, it's not what the Bruins are going to do in their power play. It's are they going to stop Tampa's power play because they've been so effective on that.
The
They scored like
penalties
3 goals in a row in the last 3 power plays.
yeah, the penalty
So,
kill
I mean,
is more important than the power play by far. If you don't give any penalties, then you should be all set.
It's kind of good. It's kind of fitting that this ended like 1-0 because I mean it just
Yeah.
showed the real raw part of the teams.
Yeah.
Like defensively scrapping, giving everything you got. That's exactly what you want.
And I
Game
think-
7, that's what we got.
I think both of these teams, they're real good offensively, but defensively they're terrific teams, and Bruins are just a little bit better, I think.
True. Yeah. I feel like it was really, really close, but that was that nice 2-on-1 situation where Olsen just put it away.
Yeah, I feel bad for Stamkos. He went 0 for 2, lost the game, lost
Nice
his
broken nose,
nose.
huh?
So, all right, moving on. Thoughts on the upcoming Stanley Cup Finals, Bruins versus Canucks?
You want to start it off, Peps?
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Take it away.
All right, well, there's a lot of matchups here. The Canucks are real good. I picked them a long time ago. I picked this matchup a long time ago, and I think the Canucks are real fundamentally sound with the puck. They're coached well. They're great skaters, and I think the West. I think those 3 teams up top of the Canucks, Red Wings, and Sharks are better than any team in the East. I think the West is a completely different style. It's a much better offensively style, fast pace, and that works well in the playoffs since there's not a lot of penalties and not a lot of fighting. But there's going to be a lot of differences. The big thing is the Bruins are much more physical and much better defensively than the Vancouver Canucks. So that's their big thing. And I think the big thing is can they stop Sedins and Kessler, and they stop the big three of Tampa, who are offensively a little bit better. So I think if they can stop them three, I think they can stop Vancouver's three. Roberto Luongo is just a great goalie. I think that's going to be real tough. But I like the Bruins in this one, especially because Char and Seidenberg. I think that's the best defensive pairing in this playoffs. And if they can stop, if one of them can shut down the Sedins, if Char can shut down the Sedins, and you got Bergeron back, Sagan's back for a whole series, Bergeron's back for a whole series. It's going to be Bergeron and Kessler. It's going to be a great matchup. But I really like the series. But I'm sticking with the Bruins in 7, like I picked a long time ago.
I have to go with the Canucks in 7, just for the fact of that front three. I mean, the Sedin brothers had their slow skid in the last round.
Yep.
They had a little of a slow skid, but then they started coming back up. Actually, no, it was the round before. And then the last run against the Sharks, they came through. But I mean, it's just going to be tough, I think, for the Bruins to stop that line with the Sedin brothers out of their hole, back up, right on fire now. But if their defense, they played like they did tonight. Like every game.
Yeah, that's
and that will definitely shut them down, considering how good they did on Stamkos, and LeCav, and St.
Especially at home. If they can play like that in front of home, get the crowd into it, that's huge. Yeah, like I said, the Bruins will work real well when they score the first goal. When they first steal the first goal with the crowd there, everybody gets up. The crowd's great there. But Vancouver's crowd's great too. They even have the green men there whenever there's a guy in the penalty box.
Screw them.
But that is pretty funny. At least they got some gimmicks over there. But these teams both are hungry for a cup. And if I'm a Canucks fan, I need the Sedins to step up. And if they can have a good game 1, I think that's going to be
It's like I want the Bruins to win, but in my head I'm just saying the better team, I think.
It's like you want the Bruins to win.
I definitely want the Bruins to win.
But I think the only thing is the Bruins, the big thing is on defense. And I think the Bruins are much better on defense. I think the Canucks are better overall, but it's a defensive series.
You know what the X factor is? Luongo.
We're going to talk about X factors.
All right, go ahead. Take it.
All right.
Well, Luongo.
What's the X factor?
The X factor in this series is the goalies. I mean, Roberto Luongo, even Barry Melrose was saying, who you think the top candidates for whatever that trophy was, and he said I'd pick Luongo over Thomas because I mean overall Luongo is I'd say a better goalie than Thomas, but I mean lately especially. But Thomas has really been stepping in. But Luongo in the season, I think, would be better.
I know.
Yeah.
Tim Thomas is still. He's
Tim Thomas. Yeah, but I mean, he said he'd rather have Luongo right now.
Career-wise,
I disagree almost all
That's
of
what
that. I
Melrose
think
was
Tim
saying.
Thomas is better right now. I think he's better overall. I think he's
what
better
does career-wise
in the
have
regular
to do with
season.
anything?
Not career-wise. He's saying
Luongo's
he's saying,
an excellent
he's saying
I know.
Luongo,
I'm just saying.
he was
right
saying
here.
Luongo
is
today. He
is
stated
better
Luongo
career-wise,
was
but
better.
not this year.
He's saying Luongo is better than
I mean,
Thomas.
Tim Thomas recently
Who said
stepped
that?
it up.
Barry Melrose.
Barry Melrose? Well, he's an idiot then. Luongo's a great goalie, but I agree with John. I think his career has been better than Thomas. Thomas started real late, but I think Thomas, this was a terrific season. I think he's the better goalie.
Yeah.
And I mean, if Luongo's better than Thomas, then we're screwed, basically, because, but I'm going to say Thomas is better. I'm going to say the X factor is the Bruins' first line. If they can get Lucic and Horton like they were playing tonight, and if they can step up with the Sedins and Burrows and that top line, if they can even come close to that top line, I think the Bruins have the series easily. If they step up and Lucic have another struggle and Horton struggling, Krejci's the only one producing that line, I think that's going to be tough. And I think there's going to be some individual matchups. It's going to be tough too.
Wouldn't you be able to agree though that you think Luongo? I mean, they both got to the point.
Yeah.
But you can't. But would you not agree that I know we faced the Lightning, but Luongo's more battle tested, facing a harder offenses in the West.
I agree with that. That's true. But, Thomas, I think he's been so dominant in taking down. I mean, there's some serious offenses.
Thomas is unbelievable.
With Ovechkin
I'm not taking anything from Thomas.
If you can stop that big three, what he did with LeCalvier, St. Louis, and Stamkos,
I think their big three was bigger than the Sedins and Kessler.
I agree.
The thing is, Kessler needs to just keep doing what he's been doing.
I think during the regular season, I think I'd go with Vancouver, but in the playoffs, I think that Tampa big three was huge.
Oh yeah.
Now talking about the X factors right here, what are you guys thoughts or opinions on individual matchups in the series?
I think that
man to man.
Yeah, I think Bergeron, Kessler. If Bergeron can even match Kessler
huge.
a little bit. Like I've been saying a lot for these shows, I think Bergeron's their best player, but he's a poor man's Ryan Kessler. I think Ryan Kessler is the best player in the game right now, especially in these playoffs. If he can match and win those face-offs and play his equal defense, you saw Kessler on Thornton. That was pretty good, and Kessler got shut down a little bit by Thornton, but really he was overmatched. But if Bergeron doesn't even have to worry about offense as much, if he can stay in front of Kessler and start winning those faceoffs, let the guys around him do it, I think that's huge. And also, I think Chara, he needs to shut down one of those Sedins. If they look at Chara and say, listen, all you're doing, your whole job is to shut down Daniel Sedin, I think that's a huge, huge matchup.
Yeah.
If you can take out Sedin and make it just Henrik Sedin in that top line, that would be huge. I think those two.
You still don't want to give any leeway towards any of them, though.
Yeah.
I mean, but thing is, with Bergeron, like, when we missed him for, what was it, a couple games?
2 games, yeah.
We were hurting. Like,
Yeah, we were.
Everyone was like all worried. Is Bergeron
But
going to come back?
saved our ass there. in those
Oh
times.
yeah, he did. But I mean, still, I mean, we need Bergeron.
We do.
Like I said, I
He's our
think that
most
is the
important
biggest. That is the biggest matchup right
Yeah.
there. Like this Sedin brothers, they're gonna do what they're gonna do and everything. But Kessler has been the one who stepped up, and Bergeron's been stepping up late. So we'll see who's gonna win that matchup there.
Yeah.
And hopefully it's Bergeron.
I don't think Claude's going to do this, but if I was Claude, I'd actually move Recchi down to like the third line and move Sagan back up there with Bergeron and Marchand, because Bergeron has to take away so much in defense. Get Sagan a little bit more ice time. I think after this round of experience, I think that will help him.
He's playing
I think,
unbelievable,
yeah,
actually.
These last couple of games, he's been back to
I mean,
real
for
life.
his
But
age,
yeah,
considering how
sure.
he's 19 years old.
Yeah, but so I think he's on the respect Claude Julien. If I was him, I'd move Sagan. I would keep the first line how it is. I would take Recchi. Recchi was just horrible.
Yeah, I don't like the 4 lines that he does.
Yeah, but
I'd like to cut it down.
especially Recchi in the second line. I mean, he's a great player. He's one of the captains there, or should be one of the captains there. But
he hasn't
he's a
been
little
doing
too
that much.
old. He's too old. I mean, 43. I'd move Sagan up there, get some fresh legs in there.
Yeah, I agree that.
All right, should we move on to NBA right now, or do you think you're going to have a lot to talk about?
What minutes
that?
is it?
We're probably 10 minutes, like right now, like maybe over.
How about we talk
over-
about Buster Posey right now?
All right, we'll talk about Buster Posey right now. All right, Buster Posey likely out for the season. He broke his left leg, so that's big on the collision right there. So thoughts on this?
The thing is, I mean, it's a shame that happens because he's like their all-star catcher. I mean,
Yeah.
they wouldn't have definitely won. They definitely wouldn't have won that World Series without him.
Yeah.
It's just a shame. It's because it was kind of like part of the blame was on him in a way because they said he wasn't set fully. I mean, there's not much you can do. You got a guy coming at you next
He broke his leg.
coming. Yeah, I know. He's, like they did sports science. It's pretty much
Oh yeah,
over
I saw that.
3,200 pounds of force
Yeah.
coming right at you. And the thing is, he's coming for the upper body. So he's coming for the upper body. His legs are screwed. Just bend right back, and I mean, it's awful. They said there might even been some knee damage going on there. They said 6 to 8 weeks.
He's
but
not a big guy.
they even said, I think it was Sandoval or someone who was saying that we just lost that catcher
Yeah,
for the
he
season.
tweeted that.
He just said that we lost that catcher for the season.
Yeah.
So, I mean, hopefully it's not the season for them because they desperately need him.
Yeah.
I mean,
He's
If
one of the most.
catchers are like the leaders of the teams, pretty
Yeah,
much.
On
I'd say.
ESPN and everything like that, it's saying he's likely out for the season.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'd say
that's a shame.
there's
It's a
only
shame.
2 players ahead of Posey for the most important players. That's Mauer and the Twins and Pujols and the Cardinals.
Yeah.
I think Posey was their leader in the clubhouse. Without Posey, there was nowhere chance they were going to enter the World Series. I think it's a devastating blow.
Terrible.
I think this takes away their chances of a repeat. The pitching is still their pitching. I think they should use some of that pitching. Possibly use as trade bait, maybe a Madison Bumgarner, maybe a Jonathan Sanchez, maybe some of these younger guys, train them off there, get some offense. And also I look at Benji Molina, who's still there. He used to play for the Giants. I haven't heard much rumors of this. I'm just thinking this on my own head. I think Benji Molina used to play for the. He did play for the Giants. I think that's a perfect fit. You know, he's still out there for some
better
reason.
than Eli Whiteside.
Yeah. And Jared Saltamaki looks like he's sticking with the Red Sox. So
Jared, it's funny that you mentioned that. He's actually producing a lot.
he's he's doing good. I was at the Cubs game 3.
Cubs
He hit a home
game
run.
2, and when they lost,
Yeah.
it was awful.
But now that Saltamaki is back there and the Red Sox offense is cruising, which we'll talk about, I think Benji Molina's still there. I think the Giants should take a stab at him and maybe trade some of that pitching for some offense. I think that's
the
the.
thing is, I feel bad for Cousins because he's from the Bay Area, and he even said he's like, I guess I'm not going to be welcome to town anymore. He had like 12 family members in the stands cheering him on, like this young kid coming in. He even apologized afterward, tried to apologize, called like Posey like twice, apparently didn't pick up. So I mean, he feels like absolute crap. He even said he's like, I didn't want to end anyone's career or season, but you know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And like even they were voting saying that like 80% said keep the rule of the catchers, like don't try to change it, because Posey's agent was going on about how they're like, oh, we should change it to protect the catchers. It's like, no, it is what it is, and you got to deal with the repercussions of it if you want to keep rules like that.
Yeah, here.
Very true. Couldn't have said it better myself. All right, now we got much more on the way. We got the NBA Finals, NBA, and MLB. So stay tuned for part 2, guys.